Well, a lot of times our perspective gets skewed.
Huh.
Um, it gets skewed by a lot of different factors, and a lot of times it's because we the information that we know, this is supposed to go this way,
It
and
is.
I'm understanding, yes, it is, but in reality, this is how it functions. And
Yeah.
so the reality of it is different than the way it should function. And that's a lot of times gets our view skewed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna go into an example of something that's real live playing out before our eyes, right?
Okay.
There is a labor shortage in this country
Mm-hmm.
of skilled labor in the plumbing fields, in the automotive fields, in the trades field. Those trade fields have a skilled labor shortage,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, with the advent of the school system and those that think they know more than everybody else, steering people away from the trades, in some places eliminating all the way from their curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
now causes a shortage. So now they steer people into this computer driven world like we are, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now those people that sit in the middle of those computer driven fields are being replaced by the data mining of AI.
Right.
AI can do those jobs more efficiently, faster, and at a way cheaper cost than the labor that can do those analytics.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's this body of people who are going to be displaced.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, in seeing this thing, we can say, well, these people should be a match for these type of jobs over here because there's an overage over here and they're going to be like, oh, they're going to need jobs, so they should be going into those, and these fields should be trying to recruit those people.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
It does.
And in reality, ain't none of that going on.
Nope.
Ain't none of that going on. And the one thing, and you'll hear us on this podcast talk about AI a lot because I like it as a fascinating subject matter. Uh,
Yeah.
and the one thing AI can't do is that we don't live in a time where the robots are able to come to your door and fix your sink.
That is correct.
We don't have the robots that are able to fix your car. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so that hasn't caught up with the whole AI revolution over here, right?
Right.
It's caught up with these cats, but
Mm-hmm.
it haven't caught up with nowhere near has caught up with these cats over here. So
Right.
you would naturally think that these businesses over here would change their business model in order to attract good employees for the long haul of what they're doing in goods and services over here. You would think
Mm-hmm.
they change their business model, but in reality, they're doing business as usual, like it
Correct.
doesn't exist.
You're right. You're right.
Right? Like it. Oh yeah, we've identified the problem, right? But
Right.
we're not changing nothing to change on it, to have an impact on it. And we're doing business as usual, like it doesn't exist. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just like, it's a recipe for disaster.
Of course it is.
right?
But
So
that's
while
that's where we're headed to.
exactly, and that so now how it should function and the reality of it functioning, right? If you get your vision skewed, it'll drive you nuts,
It will.
right? Because you'll be like, this is the simple solution. You just gotta change how you do business over here and attract more of those people to these fields, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And nope, they ain't got no that because the the head of I think it was Chrysler. He was talking about how many service technician jobs are that they have a gap in, but yet he has no plan to change their business model to attract those people. Who's going to service the cars?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and y'all got some of the raggediest product around. So,
Well, and, and now that you have so many of these service tech guys that work in there, they complain because they get cars in and they work on commission. How can me fixing a car is a commission?
right,
So it's like you can hear them talk about they pay is garbage, and
right,
then it's like, how do you get commission on being repair
right,
automotive
and
repair guy?
and that that's the whole thing about them. They're not willing to change their business model to attract the people that potentially can go into that field. One, it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't pay enough.
Correct.
Two, it's a whole new skill set they have to learn.
You do.
And with Chrysler, you got the raggediest cars around. So you, you're
You
dealing with
got
a poorly designed product, you know. So
yeah.
you don't even have enough traction for people to even come into the field,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's a
Mm-hmm.
refusal to change your business model and whatnot. What what I was thinking about with that whole scenario is that yeah, AI is going to put a certain segment of people out of job in the immediate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But now you would think that, and here's a field that affects both of us in some form, you would think those in the labor union fields would do a better job at pushing to get those folks over to their side of the thing. But
Mm-hmm.
again, because they're going after self preservation and not recognizing you have an excellent opportunity here now to revitalize
Right.
labor as the commodity, right?
Right.
You know, here you go with this whole scenario of everybody missing the fucking point.
That is
Right?
correct.
They all
Yes.
missing the fucking point, you know. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and somebody will tell me, well, you're looking at it wrong. No, no. I'm looking at it in reality of how it is, right? I recognize it for exactly how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I would be looking at it wrong if I was arguing that no, it's this way,
Right.
right? So
Right.
if I was like, no, it's this way. No, I'm not
Yeah.
going, no, it's this way. I'm looking at it exactly like it is. They have a labor shortage. They don't want to change their business model. They've got a labor force over here that's about to be displaced, and nobody is getting these people in the door to fill those type of positions.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
even give a shit because they don't want to change their business model. The union
no.
doesn't want to change its business model because they're in survival of the fittest mode of just trying to preserve what they have
Right.
versus
Right.
re versus innovating themselves and pivoting. you know,
Mm-hmm.
because to me that's what the thing with the whole AI thing too. It's
Mm-hmm.
not to be worried that you're going to be out of a job. It's time to pivot.
True, true.
No, there's some things that AI can't do that a physical human being can do.
That
Okay,
is
it's
that
time to
is
pivot.
correct.
May not seem ideal, especially if you've been groomed to sit your ass at a desk.
Yeah, if you done did that for so long, that's all you really know. So
Right,
it'll take time to learn something new, but
right, right,
you know,
right. In generationally, these folks that would have been in that middle realm, they're going to have to pivot one way or another, whether they're forced to pivot. They're going to be forced to pivot. How, everybody ain't going to be a YouTube sensation.
right.
All right, so,
That's true.
you know, folks are going to have to pivot. They're going to be forced to pivot one way or another. No, that's just my 2 cents.
Well, as we know, unions ain't what they used to be nowadays.
No, no. And because of them trying to just hold on type of philosophy
Yep.
is what's really going to take them down further down the hole than what they realize. You know,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
have to pivot. You know,
They do.
nothing stays the same forever. You have to pivot. It was a great ride the way it was, but now you have to pivot. There's a new wave of labor coming through. And if you want to capture that, you have to pivot to capture the new wave.
Yeah, you do. But I think now too, what's hurting unions so bad is these right to work states, you know, where you don't really have to have a union, which a lot of people don't understand the value of a union. The union brings a lot of value, but they get stuck on, oh, I gotta pay union dues, and what is the union gonna do for me? They do a lot, but then when you got the right to work states, your their company can have a union, but then you you have a choice to be a part of it or not. So, it's
Well,
it's they
and
not
two,
just they're just not as strong as they used to be.
well, that's because of things running on political realms.
Yep.
So that and I get it. It's always been that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, if if I had the rose-colored glasses, I would argue one without the other, right?
Yeah.
And it's really ran concurrently. One runs off of the philosophy of the other. So that now with the shift of companies going south, which are typically, you know, right to work states or Republican based states, you
Right.
know, you
Yeah.
get that type of shift in momentum in what they're doing.
Yeah.
And so I get it and I understand it. But now for the unions, there's an opportunity to pivot, not necessarily from that,
Mm-hmm.
but to pivot and now you looking at different type of industries that you won't necessarily have the foothold of old,
Mm-hmm.
but you pivoted to a whole nother different type of workforce now, um, that looks familiar, but it just the design is different,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But unions are always going to be reactionary off of whatever the company's doing anyway. So
That is
um,
correct.
it's that type of situation. And this is no way trying to solve bigger problems with this thing because they're well beyond my capability of doing so and this, that, and the other. These are
Of
just
course.
observations of what I'm looking at.
Right. Right.
what I'm looking at without trying to sugarcoat some shit or jump on a Republican Democrat type of bandwagon and get all political and jazzed up and all this
And
bullshit, justice and
yeah.
juicy, no kings and all this other garbage.
And that's where we're not headed. We're not headed into this
No,
political area. Yeah,
no,
no.
no,
We just gonna
no.
complain about everything because we can.
Right, right. And somebody will
And
have a dissertation, in the
yeah,
comments, you'll see a dissertation of going on one side or the other and blah blah blah.
and yeah.
Like whatever, whatever. Have at
Thank you for your
it.
comment. We appreciate
Right.
it.
Hey,
We read it, but we ain't commenting.
right, 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 right. Well, that's what the comment is for. So I can keep what
Exactly.
Oya is.